Ric Flair is an iconic pro wrestling legend. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 facts that you don't remember, or maybe some of you didn't even know. Ric Flair, spanning from the NWA, WCW, WWE, now AEW, this man continues to define pro wrestling. And whether you like him inside this word circle or outside this word circle, or you don't, you have to respect the man, the myth, the legend, the icon, Ric Flair. So let's get into it. At number 5, we have his first major world title win, because his career spanned decades across various promotions, and he has been a world champion technically 20 times, even though WWE only recognizes him for a few less than that. And his reign as top champions started in the late 80s and early 90s. And he is one of the most accomplished world champions in the history of wrestling, because Flair won his first major world title in the 80s. In 1981, he defeated Dusty Rhodes and became the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He held on to that title for 631 days. Okay? By 1989, he had won the NWA title 6 times. At number 4, he had the longest title run of his career in the 80s, because despite his first run as NWA World Champion lasting over 600 days, his actual longest reign lasted 793 days when he defeated Kevin Von Erich and held it for over 2 years. He was finally dethroned by Dusty Rhodes in 1986. And over the course of his world title reigns, his 793-day run was not only the longest of his career, but it was the most impressive, because he defended it over 400 times. Those guys working so many dates back then is always remarkable to me. At number 3, he never wrestled a match for WWE in the 1980s, which is pretty impressive if you think about it, because yes, he had a notable run in the early 90s and then went back to WCW, and then after WCW closed, he came back. But for the primetime years of Flair's career, he didn't wrestle in WWE. Never. He did compete a few times in the 70s for the company, but that was before he really became a top star. And the fact that he never wrestled a single match in WWE in the 80s, it adds to his legacy in wrestling. At number 2, it's introducing his trademark entrance song. Yes, he did that in the 1980s, okay? It is one of the most well-known, iconic wrestling entrances of all time, and it followed him throughout the years, whether he was in WWE or WCW or TNA or AEW, it goes with him. But the dawn, by him walking out in those shiny robes, it gets you every single time. And at number 1, we have a Ric Flair match was awarded the first ever 6-star rating by Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Now, some people like Dave, some people do not like Dave whatsoever, but his first 5-star match scale was broken by Ric Flair in the 80s, because he had 9 matches that were over 5 stars in 1980s. That's crazy. And the first ever one was awarded when Ric Flair wrestled Ricky Steamboat in a masterclass in 1989. Let me know down in the comments area below, did you know some of these facts? And if you like this type of content, let me know in the comments area below, and I will deliver more of it.